Live right here on this Tuesday on the early line on SportsGrid, all around the association. A 12-game NBA slate on a Monday night that we recap here on this Tuesday morning. First, we go to Denver. A potential NBA Finals preview. That's what both sides are hoping for. That's what both teams have invested in, mainly Milwaukee. The debut of Doc Rivers on the sidelines as the Bucks' new head coach did not come with a victory nor a cover as a 4-point road underdog at Mile High in Denver. The Nuggets win by 6, 113-107. They cover as a 4-point home favorite. Jamal Murray leads all scorers with 35 points. Nikola Jokic has a 25-point, 16-rebound, 12-assist triple-double. And Denver wins by 6 against Milwaukee.
Take a look at this game. First and foremost, Doc Rivers comes in. He's the new head coach. It'll take him some time to work his system in. The players get used to him. But that wasn't a great offensive output for 107 points for the Bucks here, who grab a very, very good offensive team. Now, granted, you're playing in elevation against the NBA champions. It's not always easy to go on the road and win games like that. And they didn't. And I didn't actually expect them to do it. But let me talk about Damian Lillard here, Ben. Like Dame time, right? That's how we know. Superstar guard in Portland. So much fun to watch. You know what his new nickname is in Milwaukee? Every other game, Dame. Because every other game is a clunker, just like he had one last night. 18 points, but only 5 of 13 from the field. That can't happen here. You know what you're getting on a night-to-night basis out of Giannis. It's going to be a high usage rate. 19 field goal attempts, but made 13. He even made the only 3-point shot he took on that night. 6 of 11 from the free throw line. That's about what you're going to have. And also an active night on the boards with 12 of those. You know you're going to get great performances. Here's what I thought coming over for Dame from Portland. This was going to be a new start on a great offensive team where he doesn't have to brunt the entire load there on offense because you know Giannis is going to be able to handle most of that. But I thought he'd be a much more effective scorer. Now, hear me out on this. It's not that he can't score 35 points, but the efficiency, Ben, should be there. Like when the ball goes on the low block to Giannis, who is a decent passer out of the low block, that's what you always hope for. Hey, they collapse on Giannis, you kick out for a wide-open 3, and Lillard's going to give you those daggers here. The only thing I'm not impressed with for Dame Lillard coming over is hopefully he gets it together, but we're midway through the season. The efficiency of Dame Lillard just isn't there. On a night-to-night basis, I don't know what I get out of him.
Donnie, have you read the reporting around why Milwaukee made the shocking move less than a week ago to dismiss Adrian Griffin in his first year as the head coach for this Bucks franchise after a 30-13 start? A lot of that was because of the incorporation of Dame. How would Lillard be used in this lineup? How would he orchestrate the offense and factor in to all the schemes that Milwaukee was trying to run? Brought over Terry Stotts, his longtime head coach in Portland, who rapidly resigned before the year got underway. There was some structure and some fractures in terms of how Damian Lillard would be used. And he has not been Dame time for the most part in his time with Milwaukee. Last night, 2 of 4 from deep. They expect Doc Rivers to bring Dame into the fold and bring that usage rate up. For Denver on the other side, the Nuggets have been booked as a favorite in 43 of 48 games. Now 18, 23, and 2 against the spread. 19 and 4 straight up at altitude at the Ball Arena in Denver. And now they are 12, 10, and 1 against the number as the home favorite. Donnie, as you go around for Denver, also 6 straight unders for the Nuggets. Last night for Milwaukee, just their 3rd time booked as a dog this year. 0-3 straight up and only 1-2 against the spread. So as we look at how these things will play out the remainder of this year, we called it an NBA Finals preview potentially. And despite some of the weirdness around Milwaukee and the big changes last week, the Bucks are still right there in the Eastern Conference, second best record, 32 wins, tied for the 3rd most in the NBA, only behind the Boston Celtics and now the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's a 32-15 record. For Milwaukee, a 5-1 number to win the NBA championship this year. Denver's only 60 cents in front at plus 440. Both teams trail behind Boston, both still very much in the running. It just seems as though the atmosphere, the vibe around Milwaukee is almost like panic mode at this moment because we are past the midway point of this NBA regular season.
They did it at the right time, though, Ben, I think, because they truly believe that they weren't going to get over the top with Adrian Griffin. You better cut it loose here because Doc's going to come in. It might take some time to see how the players get along with him, how he gets along with the players, what they like to do. He's got to learn all of those sets as well. But also, there's still plenty of time to do that. And also, as we look at, maybe have that week where Doc goes, okay, here's what I think we need on this team. Maybe an extra gun off the bench, maybe an extra defender here to help us in the playoffs. You can make those moves by the trade deadline next week, and I look forward to the Bucks making those decisions because, as we know, similar to LeBron James when he went back to Cleveland, he held all the cards. He basically said, I'm not re-signing with you, and I'm going to do a year-to-year deal to make sure Dan Gilbert gives me everything I need. Giannis has been very vocal about that for the past 2 years in Milwaukee. Look, you want me to stay. I love it here. You better give me everything I need so we can maximize. I don't want to hear we're going into the luxury tax. I don't want to hear I'm not going to trade away my future because if you decide I'm leaving, then I don't have much on my team at this point, and Milwaukee, and we're going to lose, face value per se because that franchise won't be as great with Giannis out of town. So there is time to get this. I do think they'll make those moves here. I'm not panicked about the Bucks here. Do I think they're going to win the East? No. I've always said it was going to be Boston, but I do think there's some things that they can do to improve that team at the deadline and then get used to Doc Rivers and maybe have a good playoff run here.
There are 4 teams in the NBA championship odds that have a 7-1 price or less. We showed you 2 of them. The Celtics are the favorites. The Clippers have that 4th best number. Right behind LA, the 76ers 11-1, the Suns 12-1. That's pretty much what you would expect for the 6th best odds to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy this year. What about the teams behind them? The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. 18-1 price on the T-Wolves, 19-1 on OKC, the up-and-coming crew in the Western Conference that had a game last night in Oklahoma City that would currently decide the top spot out west. And Minnesota gets a big victory on the road, 107-101 over OKC. The Timberwolves win outright, Donnie, as a 2.5-point road underdog. A total of 224.5 does stay under.
Bought their A defensive game on the road here, the Minnesota Timberwolves did. You take a look at their shooting, also close to 50% from the floor for the road, and also 48% from three-point range. And as a team from the free throw line, didn't get there all that much, but went 13 of 15. That's what we expect here. The Timberwolves are a very good defensive team with maybe the best defensive center in basketball in Rudy Gobert. Finished with a plus 11 in that game, which also included 18 rebounds for Rudy, 14 of those on the defensive glass. That's how you win against a tired opponent, OKC, who apparently SGA was rested and ready for this game, but not much else here from the rest of the OKC team. I'm not going to take all that much away because even though OKC was home, they probably should have won that basketball game, had a terrible loss the night before, and now you compound that with a loss here, which knocks you off that top pedestal. They'll still be there in the running at the end of the season. Minnesota just caught them on a night where it was tough to overcome.
37 points for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 27 for Anthony Edwards, all 5 starters for the Timberwolves scoring in double figures. Now, there's 82 regular season games in the NBA. It's not like the NFL where tiebreakers really factor in all that much, but the 4th and final regular season matchup between the top 2 teams in the Western Conference, Minnesota and OKC, now a split between the 4. The Denver Nuggets technically now the 2nd best record out west, 33-15, a half game behind Minnesota, 33-14. The Phoenix Suns, a big victory on the road yesterday in Miami. It was a 2.5-point spread in favor of the Heat, but now make that 7 straight losses for Miami. They have not covered in their last 8 games as Phoenix goes to South Beach and wins outright 118-105.
One of those games where I loved the Miami Heat last night. I thought they were the right side in this one because I figured maybe one of the big 3 would sit out for Phoenix after a back-to-back. That didn't happen, but also Miami's getting blown out heading into the 4th quarter. Bad look for the Heat. Where's that Heat culture at, man?
Not here in the regular season. 7 straight losses for Miami. The NBA championship odds, where the market has moved next.